Hey guys, I have decided to finally start my very own YouTube channel. And this is going to be my official intro video. I know I have one other on my account. Don't look at it, it's ugly. But I'm going to go ahead and start a whole new everything. A lot more engagement, something that's going to be actually fun and sophisticated and nice and good quality. Not shot on my iPhone front-facing camera. And I totally look forward to engaging with everybody. That's really why I'm doing YouTube. I just want to, we live in such a small sphere in the world, and like just one little part. And there are so many people to actually meet, and I can't do all that from my little whole hometown in Virginia. So I am just looking to kind of meet a bunch of new people and kind of be a little bit more diverse in different cultures and everything. That's what I'm hoping for. And just meeting a lot more new people and all that good stuff. I'm not too sure exactly what the channel is going to be about, honestly. Right now I'm going to do a tutorial for you. I don't know if you guys know who Trixie Mattel is, but she's the best drag queen in the world. So I'm going to be doing her look that I actually did for Halloween, and I got a lot of positive feedback on it. It was honestly a little bit difficult. It's not something that you just do one time. You do have to do it a couple times in order to actually go out. So whether you're just watching it for fun or you're actually planning on doing the look, make sure you do try it before you go out, because you don't want to look like a clown, you know? But so I'm so excited to share that with you, and then to come, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe tutorials, maybe unboxings. This one I know I'm doing like a little giveaway for my intro video, so make sure to stay tuned towards the end. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that. It's gonna be a few different things, and I'll put more information also down in the drop down bar. I don't know what you call that little box, but I'm gonna put more information down there on that. Definitely feel free to submit all that good stuff. And I look forward to making videos. I hope that you guys will engage with me and everything, because I definitely don't want to just make this and watch my own videos 700,000 times over and over and wonder where I went wrong. So if I could get a little bit of engagement, people like messaging me, talking to me, all that good stuff, be my friend. Things like that. That would be awesome. And yeah, I think that's about it. Alright, so let's get the tutorial started. So I'm going to take you from looking like this to this. Alrighty guys, so for time's sake, I've already moisturized and primed my face here, and of course you're gonna have to shave before you do this if you're a man. So freshly shaven right before the look makes everything easier. And for time's sake, I'm gonna speed up a lot of the video, like when I'm putting on contour, all that good stuff, just so it doesn't take so long and it's not so drawn out. Nobody wants that. But I'm gonna go ahead and start off by just doing my whole face in the my skin tone color. But first I will be gluing down my brows. For that, you're actually just gonna need Elmer's School Glue, and I'll kind of start you off on that. You just go on in and cover them up. And then if you just kind of follow along the steps and everything, you'll have them glued down in no time. There's a lot of different videos out there as well as far as that goes, just to make it a little bit easier to do. Different method works for everybody. This one I've kind of done a little mixture of everything. Pretty much everything Trixie Mattel does though, because she's great. Alright, and so while those are gluing down, I'm gonna go ahead, like I said, put that foundation all over the face here, whatever your skin tone is. So we're gonna go ahead and start by doing that. And then we're gonna start by carving out the cheeks using kind of a flat brush here. So everything that I'm using is gonna be the Sonia Kashuk collection for the most part. So something kind of flat like this. This is a 114 brush by her. So you just go in and you'll see we're gonna carve that out. We're gonna use two different shades. So we're gonna use a dark shade and a lighter shade, both pretty deep shades. So kind of like this here, if you can see. So pretty dark, a little bit lighter, just to give it some definition. And then we're gonna do a whole chin strap, a whole little halo, and then we are gonna go ahead and do highlight as well. So you'll see all of that here as well. And now when we're doing the contour and everything, we're gonna start by working this down first because we're still gonna have to put some more layers of glue on there just to get them really flat. I usually do 3 or 4 and then I do the final layer where you lick the glue stick and then throw it on there because it flattens it out even more, gives it a really smooth finish. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the bottom of the face with the contour and highlights, and you'll see where I put those and everything. Alright, so now that you have that all on, so you can see we did a darker right here in the corner a little bit. We'll probably go back in there and make it a little bit darker because you can see how big of a contrast it is here. So we're going to darken up the corner here again, but then we put a lighter under here on our Cupid's bow right here, kind of to create that whole really sharp look. If it's not 100% perfect, that's okay because we're going to go back in with a powder to kind of set everything. So we're gonna go ahead and go on in and blend that all out. For this, you're gonna wanna use a sponge. That's what I use for it. And I almost forgot, we gotta do the nose still too. So we'll actually do that though after we blend this out because it's just a little easier to do. And we're gonna go ahead and blend. Alright, now we're going to go ahead in and start to carve out that nose now that we have this all blended out. We're going to come back and kind of define these cheeks a little bit more. But as of right now, it looks pretty good. You won't want to blend out the bottom portion here because as you know, the line has to be really sharp for that. If you don't know who Trixie Mattel is, and actually she emailed me and told me that it was okay for me to use her Instagram pictures. So I mean, I think that was pretty cool. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go in and do the nose now. So I'm using same brush that I would have used for this, but I didn't end up using because I used this stick. But if you do have like a palette form, just use this brush. But we are gonna use that for the nose because we need it to be really defined. And then in the middle of the nose, just use a really, really small brush because they're gonna just draw a little line, which you'll see. Alright, and so now that we have that all carved out there, we're going to go ahead and blend down the sides, and we're going to put the final layer of glue on after we do that. So you just blend down the sides a little bit here, so that way it's not super mega harsh. And you want the nose to be really, really, really defined, just like this here, and kind of pinch off the end. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do that final layer of glue on the eyebrows. Like I said, vital step, looks gross, it's non-toxic. If it's not non-toxic, don't lick it. Basic principles. And then while it's still a little bit tacky, go in before it fully dries with a little bit of that lighter pigment. So just like a pressing powder, but make sure it's not translucent. You do want it to have some pigment to it because then this is where you're gonna actually press the brow down. So that way they're really, really, really glued down to your skin. Okay, and now that we have those all kind of covered up there, you can see they're really, really smooth to the touch. We're gonna go ahead and go in and start to carve out with the powders on the side. So pretty much exactly what you did with the contour, the cream contour, you're gonna go back in now and set it with a powder. Actually, we're gonna go in with a translucent powder first. I almost forgot a step. So go in with a translucent over this first, because we need to actually set it. So, translucent, and just pack it on. Alright, and so now that we have that all set there, we're gonna go ahead and start to actually do the exact same thing up on the top of the head here. So, tie your hair back so that way it's easier to maneuver. And then we're gonna get started. And to cover up the brows, I do use a pretty full coverage concealer. I use a cream concealer just to really make sure that it is really covered up there. And then you're gonna blend it out and then put that skin color back all over everything. And then we're gonna start working on the highlight and continue with the contour and blending everything out. Repeating the steps of the bottom of the face. Alright, so now that everything has been set with your pressing powder there, the translucent, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go in and redefine everything that we just set with actual powder, contour, and highlight. So we're going to go back in, do everything the exact same. So we're going to go in, I'm going to use a little bit of a different brush for that portion there. I'm going to go in with a little bit of a more dense brush and just go in, do all of your highlight and contour. I'm using a sponge for the highlight just because I feel like it presses in a lot easier. And you're going to need something with a sharp edge. As you can see, this guy isn't new, but it works well. Little piece of hard paper, I guess. And you just line it on up where your contour is going to be. Make sure they're symmetrical because this really sets it. And then just kind of go ahead and go in, use the deeper contour back here, a little bit of the lighter up here to give it some definition. And go on in.
I see it now, I am better off. Got one or two things to tell you. You really got me stuck, then you walked away. While I was in the shop, you would drift astray. All the things you told me that weren't true. I've got one or two things to tell you. You never have to find in the face of
Alright, now that we have that all set there, we're actually going to go ahead and move on to the eyes. So for that, you're going to need a gel liner. So you will go in with that there. And you're going to need a small, tiny, flat, pointed brush. And you'll actually go on in with your liner. Grab a little bit on your brush. And you can see how defined that one paper made the sides here. And then you want it to go up and out. So just pick a point where you want it to start and work it on down. Be careful if you're covering your eyebrow because you don't want that to be messed up. They're pretty fragile. And you're just going to go ahead and work it on down. And then you're going to pick your other side and you just want it to come right down to the corner here of your eye. And you can work that on up to the wing there. And you want them to be pretty symmetrical. We're going to come in a little bit on the eye here just to kind of give it more definition and make the eye look a little bit wider. Because Trixie obviously has giant eyes. So you're just going to go in there and even run it up on the nose a little bit. And then you're just going to fill it on in. I use a black powder to set this, and then I actually use a felt tip typically to go around it if the lines aren't clean enough to just really give it a sharp look. So you're going to go ahead and do that to each of the eyes, and then they'll be done. So you can see that this one's obviously a lot smaller than this one because I ended up making it a little bit bigger. So we're going to go back in over this one and do the exact same thing on this side, and I'm going to go in and clean that up on the edges with the felt tip. I think it's a little bit easier than trying to perfect it with the actual gel itself, so it just makes it a little bit easier to go in with the actual felt tip. Alright, so once we get the wings pretty much symmetrical, I'm going to go back in. You can see where it's kind of light here. And we're going to clean up around where there aren't supposed to be spots. So like for me, I got a little bit right there, a little bit on the side there that needs to come away. And then we're going to set it with that black powder like I said. But first, go under with translucent and kind of pack it on here because you don't want any fallout. And that's also going to help with the next step, which is going to be the lid. Alright, so go ahead and go in and pack on that black powder. You're going to want it to be a pretty black. So no shine, no shimmer. Just to kind of give it back that super black look on there. And don't forget, if on your eyeliner here, if you end up making them super gigantic like me here, that's actually irrelevant to what I was going to say. If you are, worried about your edges being super crisp or whatever, don't, because the only place that they really matter is kind of like where they're going to be seen, which is not too much. I mean, you want the point to be pretty sharp, but other than that, you're actually, the lid is going to cover the majority of it, so you don't have to worry too much. But just gonna set this here. Try not to get any fallout. And the reason that you want to set everything so much is that it's going to make everything last. This is a lot of makeup that you're putting on, so you want to make sure that it doesn't all just come off. And so we're going to go ahead now and start with the lid. So for this look, I'm actually going to use, I'm going to do almost like a pink look, a little bit of a pink red. You can kind of make that your own though. So it depends on maybe like your outfit, what you feel like, whatever. I'm doing pinks because that's what I want to do. And so on the eyelid, I start with kind of like a flat brush. Let's see if we can get one here. So you're going to start with like a flat brush here, kind of tiny because you want to be able to define it. And then you're going to do your starting color. So I'm going to do kind of like a gradient pink. So I'm going to do like a pretty dark to light here, and then maybe a little bit of orange in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and watch along. I'm using the Modern Renaissance palette for all of this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go in with, for the darkest color, I'm going to use the Venetian red. And then I'm going to use a little bit of the burnt orange and probably a little bit of the love letter. Now this part is important because this is where you're actually sculpting out your lid fold. So you want it to be pretty precise. You want them to match up. So just kind of go in and make sure you really pay attention to this part. Make sure that they're even, they start at the same point, all that good stuff. And it doesn't matter if you get it on the wing back here because you can go in and fix that. Alright, and just to kind of help blend these shades together, so it's not such a huge difference, so it looks a little more defined, I'm going to go in with a little bit of darker color in here, just to kind of define that lid a little bit more. All right, and so now that we have that all pretty defined there, I'm gonna go on in and start to do the crease. I might kind of go back afterwards and add in a little bit more pink, give it a little bit more of that bright look. But I'm gonna go ahead and go in and do the crease. For this, you're gonna need like it's called clown white. It's really, really, really white to go in. This is where we're gonna kind of fix everything as well. So you will just wanna take a pretty firm, flat-ish brush and go on in there and carve that out. And then in order to fix where you overdrew, because overdrawing makes everything a little bit easier, just go back in with either your felt tip or your black gel and just draw back over where you overdrew. And then it will be hidden like it never happened. So just go on in where your liner starts. I'm gonna go underneath because it's easier. And bam, it's like it never happened. All right, and so now that that's done, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start on the bottom half. So going ahead and doing the bottom with that same white. So we're gonna knock off that powder that we originally put down though to kind of save us from that fallout. And then go in with that exact same clown white that you had and figure out where you put your brush. Found it. All right, and so you're gonna need a good amount of that. So just grab some of that white and make sure all that powder's gone so it sticks. And then you're just gonna go right under the eye and start to fill it in. All right, and so with that there, then go ahead and go in with a white powder. Again, this needs to be a really white and no sparkle, shimmer, anything like that. And go in underneath and set that. So that way it doesn't get all gunky and everything. And then actually, take a little bit of that white. I just dab it on my finger here and kind of work the edge of that because you don't want it to be so harsh because your lashes are gonna go on. And then before you do anything to the bottom lashes, go ahead and throw your contacts in. I just use a little sponge to hold this with some powder on it. You can put this in before you do the under eye too. That would probably make things a lot easier. It's fine. All right, and now that those are on, we can move on to the rest. All right, so from here, we're gonna need to put on some bottom lashes. But first, before we do that, of course, we need to pick our color for the underneath. So for the underneath, I'm gonna do pretty much a little bit of black. I just think black makes everything blend so well. So go ahead and do whatever color you're gonna do underneath, but I do always like to start off with a little bit of black. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna go ahead and put some pink under the eye from that same palette, the Modern Renaissance. But this one we're gonna make really bold. Alright, and now that that's looking pretty bold, now we can actually go ahead and add on the lashes to bottom and top. For the top lashes, I know Trixie uses 601 lashes. Seth isn't using 601 lashes. I am actually using something that I got from eBay that came in a pretty huge pack, and they're big lashes. So we're gonna go ahead and get those guys. And you're gonna hit that bottom lash with some glue. Let it get a little tacky. And then do the same for all the others. The top ones I actually use wig glue. It holds it on forever and never lets go. And then for the top lashes, so it's 6 lashes stacked. So it's not just one pair, of course. So they look like little spiders. It's a lot of lashes. And you just place this right kind of in the crease of your eye. And me and Trixie actually do have something in common. We both originally didn't win. I went for a costume contest as this to a town called to a club called Town. Wow. And there was a costume contest, and the winner received $1,000. And I was like, ooh, I could use $1,000. So I went, of course, and I spent all this time and everything, because who doesn't love Trixie Mattel? I was like, yeah, I'm a shoo-in to win. And so when I went, I didn't win, unfortunately, because I lost to a lobster. Yeah, a lobster. I have to give it to him. It was the one from the Powerpuff Girls. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good outfit, honestly. Still think mine was better, but I mean, whatever. Can't be a sore loser. So now that we have those all glued on, the eyelashes underneath, your real ones, are probably really, really dusty. So I'm gonna go back in. I like to do this. I know Trixie just kind of does it beforehand, makes the eyelashes really black, but I just like to go in after and do it, because then it kind of, I feel like, blends them up towards the lashes. Not that you can really see your own lashes anyways, unless you're really up close. And then at this point, just kind of go in and clean up wherever you need to clean up. Hit it with some black, with some white, whatever you need to hit it with. And then we're gonna add glitter under the eye, because glitter makes everything better. Alright, and now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on to the lips. And then we're gonna draw on our brows, and we'll be pretty much done at that point. And so for the lips, I'm just gonna go in and kind of overdraw them a little bit with the liner. And then we're gonna go ahead and fill it on in. Alright, now that we have that done, we're gonna hit with some blush, eyebrows, and then we're done. For the blush, we're gonna use a little mixture of both. We're gonna use, I'm using a little bit of a Tarte here. We're just gonna go in and add that in, because you would not be Trixie without blush. And then I'm mixing it with just a little bit of a hotter pink. And go ahead and go in and hit it with some highlight. Right on top of that there. And now let's get some brows. So I'm just going with a tiny little brush here, and I'm going to use a few different brown colors to just kind of give it some eyebrows, and then we'll go from there. So you just want to kind of start where you're going to put your brow and make some little lines. Make sure they're symmetrical again. Everything's all about symmetry. And then just work your way up, making that arch, and change out the colors, and you'll be good to go. Alright, and then to kind of really make the brows stand out, you're going to have to go in, also to clean it up, just to go in with a light powder. To give it that negative space. This will also be like the highlight to your brow bone. So just go. Alrighty, and those brows are gonna have to do. And then, or actually though, let me clean it on up right under here, because that looks a little wonky. And while I'm up here, I'm actually gonna pack a little bit more pink on here on top of this, just to bring it back to life. Alright, and so now that you have everything on, all you need is to change into the most glamorous clothes and throw on some hair, and then you'll be her. Alright guys, and so this is the look here. So the giveaway that I'm actually doing is going to be for some Sonia Kashuk brushes there. If you guys want to go ahead and enter to win for those, you can just like this video, please, subscribe, and then comment on here saying, just comment. And I'm actually gonna pull the actual list from the subscribers list. So if you do want to enter for the chance to win those, please definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be putting out new videos every now and then and doing lots of giveaways and lots of fun stuff. So definitely please subscribe. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that you enjoyed the look. Like I said in the beginning, definitely please leave feedback as well. And thank you again for watching.